I love talking about friendship. It's
Oh,
it's so
yeah.
important to me. But I really do believe that friendship in these seasons of like wanting something
Hmm.
different is hard, but also so beautiful because sometimes those friendships that we have what we already want. And we have to like kind of work around that like envy and that isolation and that like good for you, but
Totally.
not for me.
Yeah.
How have you walked through that?
Yeah, man, I'll super humbly say, like, I've not always done it well. Like, I can remember times before I married Dustin where I was at a friend's wedding, like in the bathroom during the reception, crying because I just like needed a moment to sort through, like, she's getting what I want, and I'm so happy for her, and I
Yeah.
want to show up well for her. And how does that coexist with the longing in my heart?
Yeah.
So that's always going to be hard for
Yeah.
us. I think the couple of things I would go back and coach Rebecca 10 years ago to do
Yeah.
now, right? Is one, I don't think I always kind of like the resentment conversation I mentioned a moment ago. I don't think I always dealt with how I was feeling about a situation before, call it the baby shower, the wedding shower, the whatever. I would just ruminate on how much it frustrated me that it wasn't my
Yeah.
turn. So a couple things, I would coach her to go back and truly deal with that beforehand. Not that the resentment or the envy or whatever won't pop up during said shower.
Yeah.
But if I'm willing to go to the Lord, and I use this passage a lot in the book, but it's out of Psalm 139, it's verses 23 through 24. I go back to this prayer a lot as I'm navigating longing. It says, "Search my heart, O God, try me and know my anxious thoughts. If there be a grievous way in me, lead me in the way everlasting." And so just asking God to search our hearts and reveal to us, like, how am I viewing this situation differently than you do? And give me your eyes to see
Yeah.
what you're doing in my life despite this longing in my heart, and really working through that and going to the Lord in prayer about it. And then the second piece I would give that's helped me kind of combat some of those feelings leading up to showers and things is kind of pre-deciding a little bit. So two things there. One, how do I want to show up for my friend? Right? Like, I'm genuinely excited about this blessing in her life, whatever, marriage, kids, whatever. And so the last thing I want to do is show up to that shower or whatever and not be able to experience the joy of that. Like,
Yeah.
she's an important person in my life. So how do I want to show up on that day? And then two, most times, especially as women, when we go into a baby shower, etc., there's always this fear of, is somebody going to ask me, like, when are you having kids, or when's your kid going to have a kid and become a grandparent? Like, we fear those questions, but I believe, don't spend enough time thinking about how we could appropriately answer that question in a way that gives some grace to, like, your season of life, the fact that, our great aunt's best friend twice removed is the person asking. They don't mean to offend us by it. They're just genuinely wanting to know about our life. So could we decide how we want to answer that before we're put in the position, in a way that we don't feel like we have to over explain or over justify our longing, right? So I think really searching our hearts and then pre deciding how we want to show up, those two things have helped me in the community piece more than anything.
Yeah, because the when great aunt Ethel's best friend Marge asks us, "When are you having kids?" You're like the response I want to give is like, "Oh, you want to know about my sex life? Like, you want me to tell you?"
Yeah.
And that's not
Yeah.
what she's asking. She's just making
No.
small talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.